Here's a question. What did you wake up worrying about? And what are the things that are really stressing you out right now? Was it still who knew what about which lockdown party and when? Was it the looming letters demanding a vote of no confidence in the Prime Minister? The estimated scale of the revolt is variable and rather fluid. There's even a kind of hokey-cokey element to it. In, out with those letters. And the threshold of 54 letters still seems a long shot just now. Incidentally, it's Graham Brady, chair of the 1922 Committee of Tory backbenchers, and the addressee of said letters, is thought to be on a walking weekend this weekend with his wife. One assumes he could be contacted by mobile phone, but this hardly seems the actions of an experienced man expecting the balloon to go up at any moment. Was it perhaps about how the Tory whips have said, be good and good things will happen, and be bad and they won't, to those rebellious Tory MPs? Whips are the men and women the political parties all employ, specifically to keep their MPs in order. Are they the brutal Machiavellis of modern politics, creeping along dark corridors with weapons concealed about their person? Or are they merely up-and-coming junior folk doing their master's bidding? Mind you, as former Number 10 spokesman Jonathan Haslam observed this morning, if they were daft enough to send their evil threats by text, they're probably not the brightest bunnies on the farm. So what were you worried about? Perhaps it was the hint of a £500 grant to help the poorest with their power bills, as you continue to stress over the cost of living. Or was it the new Giga battery plant in the northwest of England, putting the UK on the front foot in the electric car industry? Or, as Polly was just telling us, the loss of Meatloaf and the thought that we'll have no new recordings or performances from this giant of popular music? Or was it, and this is what I'm stressing about most, the itchy-footed 100,000-strong Russian army loitering with bad intent on the Ukrainian border, replete with tanks, artillery and armoured personnel carriers? The fact that we have possibly exposed ourselves, both by offering the Ukrainians weapons and deploying trainers from the British Armed Forces to help that ally, is, as it sits waiting for what President Biden seems to think the inevitable invasion, is also a cause of grave concern. And there's talk of us sending more, not only to Ukraine, but also to the Baltic states, forever in Vladimir Putin's eye. Now, the French and the Germans are cozying up to Putin, who supplies them and others with gas. They know which side their bread is buttered on, whatever the cost to others might be. And then there, of course, is President Biden himself, as his erudite Secretary of State Antony Blinken plays a cautious threat and counter-threat game of shuttle diplomacy. His commander-in-chief rambles through press conferences and interviews, forgetting his lines or admitting to all intents and purposes Mr. Blinken's Ukrainian-Russian peace process is already doomed to failure. Let me be clear. The moral and political authority of Prime Minister Boris Johnson is on the line. Sue Gray will publish the dossier of evidence early next week, and then, whatever she says, another complex chapter will unfold in this crisis. But as the Ukrainian-Russian crisis simmers towards boiling point, it is Mr. Johnson's authority to lead our response to that matters most. So, a grasp of that threat may be just a little more important right now than what the whips did or didn't say and to whom.